Good evening. Next at 6 on 7 News, the Roads Minister makes a visit to Kirstie, making some promises to fix some of the region's worst roads. Lawyer numbers decreasing, with HECS debt partly to blame. Farmers reeling over the imminent closure of a North Coast labour hire company. Coffs Coast Judo fight their way to a medal at the national titles. And at 6:30 in the national news, Jared Hayne marks his first day of freedom since being released from prison. And Aussie Golden Girl Ariane Titmus breaks a massive record at the Olympic trials. All the details coming up in just a couple of minutes. We'll see you next at 6.
This is 7 News, the voice of the coast.
Tonight, the region's roads under the spotlight again. Marine Rescue praises boaties but guards against complacency.
I'm Daniel Gibson. Later on this news hour, wife killer Chris Dawson's appeal has been thrown out, and Hezbollah launches rockets at Israel, bringing both sides closer to war.
7 News begins now.
Good evening. Some of the region's worst roads were in the spotlight today as the New South Wales Roads Minister visited Kirstie. Interchanges, overpasses, damage and congestion were all up for discussion, with action urgently needed.
In town to spruik the completion of 56 concrete bridges across the region.
This replacement of those bridges with concrete structures will make such a massive difference.
Samantha Crowe joins us live now. And Sam, they're not the only hotspots where residents are looking for solutions.
No, Nick, we also asked the Minister about Wrights Road roundabout, one of the biggest pinch points. And again, the government made no early commitment for additional funding for that project.
We will do what we can as funds allow, but it just is a difficulty. Obviously, once we've got that strategic regional planning process complete, we'll have that roadmap for how we get our roads back on track.
Budget details will be handed down on Tuesday.
OK, thanks for the update, Sam. That's Samantha Crowe reporting live for us tonight. Private practices in Lismore are desperate for more solicitors, with worker numbers on the decline. Many are opting for better wages in the cities to pay off their debts sooner.
Helping people stay out of legal trouble and receive a fair sentence.
It means they may be bail refused, they may then be on remand for crimes where there's a presumption of innocence in society as well.
Elise Holden, 7 News.
North Coast farmers are reeling over the imminent closure of labour hire company Maytech, the federally funded body responsible for supplying the region with around 10,000 workers every year.
The ever-expanding blueberry industry continues its meteoric growth, this year's berry production exceeding last year's record harvest by 12 to 15%. Liz Penny, 7 News.
Byron Bay's Bluesfest has taken out the first live business breakfast awards in Sydney. Bluesfest was named Best Australian Music Festival for its excellence and resilience during some very challenging times. Judges said music brilliance and lineup put it above the rest, beating CMC Rocks and Laneway Festival. Director Peter Noble said the dedication and love from festival goers has been truly inspiring. The event will return in April with tickets already on sale. Clarence MP Richie Williamson has renewed calls to dredge the Clarence River. Mr Williamson said the marine industry has foreseen a dire need for dredging in the next 5 years. He also is asking the state government to implement a 10-year strategy for both Clarence and Evans Rivers. He says it could also improve flood mitigation.
Obviously, the more silt that's on the bottom, the higher the flood will be and the slower the flow rates are.
The Clarence River's navigation channels were last dredged over 6 years ago. Well, Kirstie's here now for a look at today's weather conditions. And Kirstie, those winds were cold today.
Yes, they certainly brought a chill to the air, Nick. Good evening, everyone. Otherwise, it's been a mostly fine day for the north coast, other than those breezy conditions. Those winds swinging out of the southwest meant they had a cold chill to them, and that chill impacted our feels-like temperature. Taree felt like 12 degrees at 2 o'clock this afternoon. Port Macquarie felt like just 13 degrees, and Coffs Harbour's apparent temperature was 15 degrees degrees. That's despite maximums in the high teens and the low 20s. In the north, Byron Bay shivered through almost 55 km/h winds this morning. We had a minimum of 11 degrees, but it felt like just 4 degrees. It did remain sunny across the day, though. Tomorrow, winds starting to ease, but we could see a shower or two. I'll have our Friday forecast later on, Nick.
That sounds great, Kirstie. We'll see you really soon. Thank you. Well, still to come in 7 News, a Wimbledon champion's mental resilience coach shares his knowledge and the importance of shopping locally at the end of financial year sales.
And a little later on this news hour, wife killer Chris Dawson learns his fate, what it means for his prison sentence. Jared Hayne faces a possible fourth court battle. How much Aussie workers are losing in unpaid overtime. And Ariane Titmus smashes a record at the Olympic swimming trials. See you soon.
Welcome back. Retailers are calling on consumers to shop locally at the end of financial year sales. Despite the cost of living crisis, shoppers are expected to spend billions of dollars right across the state.
Marked down and priced to clear. It's one of the busiest times of the year for shopkeepers.
The coach who's helped our country's sporting icons achieve greatness is now sharing the secrets to success. Renowned mindset coach Ben Crowe is on a mission to help everyday Australians achieve their goals.
All smiles with the next generation of leaders, sports people or even entrepreneurs. Ben Crowe was the guest speaker at today's Orange Business Lunch.
Still to come in 7 News, a $5 million investment on the final stretch in Taree. And Coffs Judo Club fights their way to a national title medal.
Tonight's Sport Report brought to you by Harcourts.
Welcome back. A Coffs Coast Judo Club has put on an impressive display at the Australian Championships on the Gold Coast. They did the region proud and even brought home some gold.
It's a match of skill that often ends with someone thrown to the ground. A winning result that Coffs Coast Judo's 45-odd members train hard for. On the weekend, 6 of their best took to the floor for a chance at a national title on the Gold Coast.
Upgrades to the Taree Greyhound track are almost complete, 6 months behind schedule. The lights have been installed and new railings are currently being built. The track's sand-based surface will be laid in 6 weeks, signalling the end of the project.
It'd be great to see the people back. You know, it's been a long time since anyone's been able to patronise the club, so it'd be great to see people enjoying greyhound racing again.
The $5 million enhancements have faced months of delays and was originally penciled in to open in January. Up next in 7 News, Kirstie's back and she has your Friday weather forecast.
And in the national news now, just minutes away, former NRL player Jared Hayne deals with the possibility of a fourth trial. The surprising amount of overtime that Aussie workers aren't being compensated for. And Ariane Titmus rewrites the record books.
Tonight's weather report brought to you by Port Home Zone.
Good evening, everyone. We could see some scattered showers and the odd storm through central and northern New South Wales tomorrow and into Saturday morning, with moist winds and cloud cover. A high pressure system is developing, bringing fine and more settled weather into the state. But along the coast, a complex low pressure system is forming, that bringing windy weather and hazardous surf. Now, a few showers are likely over the coast tomorrow and into Saturday, heaviest around parts of the mid-coast, where we could see around 15 to 20 millimetres. Tomorrow, looking fine for most, but drizzly conditions are likely to arrive through parts of the mid-north coast into the afternoon. Port Macquarie expecting a couple of millimetres of rain thanks to those onshore winds from that coastal low. Further north, though, fine conditions around about the northern rivers. Settled at 19 degrees on the way for Lismore. Some cool winds around, though, and we are expecting another chilly morning. Casino dropping to 5 degrees, a top of 19 during the day. On the waters tomorrow, wind warnings no longer in place. Those south-southwesterly winds returning to around 20 to 25 knots. Our swell still sitting at around 9 feet for Port Macquarie, with seas around 1.5 to 2 metres. I can get those numbers right. Taking a look through to Saturday now, we are expecting showers to increase around 15 to 20 millimetres through Foster and parts of the mid-coast, around 7 millimetres for Nambucca Heads through Saturday. Winds becoming cool once again in the morning, and we're expecting relatively cloudy skies. We could even see a dusting of snow around 1,500 metres. Further north, more settled once again. Only about 1 millimetre of rain through Evans Head and for Tweed Heads. But any chance of showers looks to clear heading into Sunday, with a sunny day for the end of the weekend. Kempsey 18 our top, Dorrigo chilly and a top of 13 degrees, with overnight minimums back to single figures. We are expecting a top of 20 in at Grafton and 19 degrees for Casino. Some showers over the next couple of days though, but mainly for the mid-coast, Nick.
Nice to see some sunshine on Sunday, Kirstie.
Yeah, it's heading our way soon.
We need it. Thank you. And that is your local news for tonight. You can always catch up on 7plus. Right now, Dan's got your latest national news. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and Kirstie and I will see you tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. See you then.